Shavua Tov Rabotai, we are continuing with our Mishna Yomi, Masechet Sukkah. We are up to Perek Bet Mishnah Daled. Today's Mishnayot should be Leilun Nishmat, Neria ben Svetlana, Aranbai ben Eliyahu ben Burcha Israelov, Menuchatam beGan Eden, Amen. This Mishnah begins with another case of a Sukkah that involves trees. How it says, Sukkato ben Eilanot ve'Eilanot tefanot la kishera. If one makes a Sukkah on a patch of ground between trees and the trees are its walls, it is a valid Sukkah. In this case, the Sukkah is not supported by trees, they are merely its walls. Dwelling in the Sukkah therefore is permitted even on Yom Tov, since it does not violate the rabbinic prohibition of using a tree on Shabbat and Yom Tov. Now, having dealt with the definition of a valid Sukkah, the chapter now turns to the laws of dwelling in a Sukkah. Here it presents situations where one is exempt from this mitzvah. Shiluche mitzvah peturin min sukkah. People who are traveling in order to perform a mitzvah, such as redeeming a captive, are exempt from the mitzvah of dwelling in a sukkah, because someone who is engaged in one mitzvah does not have to perform another. This is an application of the rule, haosek b'mitzvah patur min mitzvah. One who is occupied with the mitzvah is exempt from a mitzvah. Now, people traveling to do a mitzvah are exempt from dwelling in the sukkah, even at night, when they stop to lodge and are not actively traveling. Since they are mentally occupied with the mitzvah, even then they do not need to divert their attention from it and go and dwell in a sukkah. Cholin umshamishehen peturin min sukkah. Sick people and their attendants are exempt from the mitzvah of dwelling in a sukkah. Sick people are exempt because they are uncomfortable in the sukkah, and their attendants are exempt because they are engaged in the mitzvah of caring for the sick. Now the commentaries explain the Torah's commandment in Sefer Vayikra, chapter 23, pasuk 42, Basukot teshvu, in sukkahs you shall dwell, is understood to mean that the way one dwells in a sukkah during the festival of Sukkot should resemble the way one dwells in his house the rest of the year, what we call teshvu ken taduru. According to this rule, if a person is experiencing a situation that would make him leave his home, he is exempt from staying in his sukkah. During the year, a sick person would not remain in his home if he can move to another place where he would feel better or more comfortable. Therefore, he is under no obligation to stay in his sukkah either. We may eat and drink casually, meaning we may consume a small amount of food or drink as a snack outside the sukkah, meaning an amount a person would eat to relieve his hunger, not to replace a regular meal, would be allowed outside the sukkah. Since a person would eat a snack outside his home, he may do so outside the sukkah as well. And that is the end of Mishnah Daled. Mishnah Hey now discusses, although the law permits eating a snack outside the sukkah, some Tanaim went beyond the letter of the law. It happened that Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai was brought a cooked dish just to taste. And Rabban Gamliel was brought 2 dates and a pail of water. Fruit and water are considered snacks no matter the amount, according to Shulchan Aruch or Chaim chapter 639 Halakha 2. And they said, take them up to the sukkahs. And those times sukkahs were commonly built on roofs, which is why they said to take the food or water up to the sukkah. But we see, although these were snacks and not formal meals, they insisted on eating them in the sukkah. Now the Mishnah tells these stories to teach that if a person eats a snack inside the sukkah, he is not considered to be showing off. To the contrary, he is worthy of praise. Now in the following instance, though, a Tana did eat a snack outside the sukkah. But when they gave Rabbi Tzadok food, meaning bread, that was smaller than the volume of an egg, he did not wash his hands, but he took it with the cloth. Although a person must wash his hands before eating bread, Rabbi Tzadok maintained that one does not do so unless the amount of bread is at least the size of an egg, kabetza. Because he did not wash his hands, he held the bread in a cloth for the sake of cleanliness. Again, this is not applicable to us. We must wash our hands without a bracha already from Kazayit. That's discussed in the Halachot and the Tirat Yadayim. We are learning the Mishnah now. Again, when they gave Rabbi Tzadok bread that was smaller than the volume of an egg, he did not wash his hands but took it with the cloth. He ate it outside the sukkah. Here the Mishnah teaches that it is acceptable for even a Torah scholar to eat a snack outside the sukkah as the Halakha allows. This is not considered to be a deficiency in one's observance of mitzvot. And he did not recite the blessing after eating it. Now there's a dispute between Tanaim whether the minimum amount of bread that requires Birkat Mazon is the size of an olive kazait or the size of an egg kabitzah. This is in Brachot chapter 7 Mishnah 2. Rabbi Tzadok follows the opinion that the minimum is an egg's volume. Again, Rabotai, for halachot, we always have to look at the Shulchan Aruch, the commentaries, ask our local Orthodox rabbi, our Rav, and from there we learn how to behave in halachot. That is on Rabotai of today's Mishna Yomi. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen v'amen.